so much want to avoid this thing, but this argument about voting, like invariably.
I mean, it's an election year.
Once a show at this point. Jobby Boonier, think of voting a lot like a slot machine. Would you rather put in the machine that gives you a 1/1000th chance at universal health care and provides some minimal protection for abortion rights, or a machine that gives you 0% chance at health care and also privatizes your Social Security and throws women in jail for terminating a pregnancy? It's a good point. And I think it's going to be, although I just read this Jeff Stein piece in Washington Post about what the Biden supposedly is being floated for the Biden administration to run. The Biden campaign to run. I can't even believe. I almost think it's like a head fake.
Can I guess? What, vouchers?
No, not quite that bad, but it almost has that same level of like sexiness. I mean, I think they're going to,
or lack thereof.
Well, they're going to obviously talk about abortion rights and whatnot, but it is what they seem to be. I can't even find it here.
It's right. It's here, yeah.
I had notes on it, but the top three, here it is. The top three, prescription drugs, taxes, and corporate price gouging.
Can you run on housing, please? This would actually benefit him.
I mean,
seriously, with young people.
Prescription drug prices, very important.
They have too many homeowners to run on housing.
Well, but you could say we're going to subsidize the building of more homes.
Yeah.
But prescription drugs, like to run on that at this point, just like they're not paying attention to what is in the news every single day right now. Every single day. And if those are the top three things, I just can't believe, I just, it has to be. They're trying to figure out a second term agenda conversation. One of the big questions is, how much are you looking forward and how much are you looking backwards? You always look forward. If you want to, this is like a basic thing that you learn when even when you start crawling.
Yeah.
You look forward.
Right.
It's
also
just the dumbest.
You have to look forward when you're like understanding time as a linear concept, and also when you're legislating, right?
Here is, I mean, you need to, and here is, let's do the Donald Trump. Do we have this DeSantis thing? Because this is two-part. I mean, one, it reminds you, because DeSantis is a joke. But let's play this clip. Go ahead.
DeSantis, okay. This is after
This is Donald Trump coming in and announcing that DeSantis has dropped out. Well, this is such a joke.
Very capable person who's dropping out. Ron DeSantis. And Ron is dropping out. And in doing so, he endorsed us. A little cold outside, but not too cold. Don't forget, in Iowa, 40 degrees below zero. This is like warm weather.
It comes around.
We love you. So what happens is very interesting, because he's out as of 3 o'clock this afternoon with the endorsement. Without the endorsement, I think we would have gotten almost all of those votes, because we have very similar policies.
All right, there you go. Like, he doesn't even, basically, he can't even take the endorsement. So, I mean, Ron DeSantis could be an absolute joke, but remember, Ron DeSantis, remember, like, he had black people arrested for voting, essentially, because they
didn't know
they had gone back and forth, and they didn't know what their status was, and they were just following what the voting, local voting rules were, and had them arrested so that he could showboat this. You look at the assault on libraries and schools, and on higher education, and on trans people and gay people in that state. And here is another sort of casualty. This is a clip back from I think it was in May, but I never saw this clip, and it's going around right now. But this is a function of Florida state law, and there is no doubt that I don't know, it's quite as clear. There was an opportunity to pass a statute. There was a 6-month period, and the Democrats didn't want to deal with anything that was controversial while they were trying to get the expansion of Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act passed back in 2008, or I guess it was really closer to 2009. But in the future, if there is an opportunity to have a statutory right, never mind a constitutional right, to abortion in every state in the country, it is not coming with the Republican Party. That is 100% the case. And if there is a 1% chance that is going to come with the Democratic Party, just here, this story is one of many, but here.
Last fall, Deborah and Lee Dorbert were excited to be giving their son Caden a sibling. But at an ultrasound when Deborah was 24 weeks pregnant, the doctors had terrible news.
The baby has no kidneys and you have little to no amniotic fluid.
The doctor said the baby was sure to be stillborn or die quickly after birth. And Deborah was at an increased risk of a potentially deadly pregnancy complication.
I broke down crying in the room.
It's a rare condition called Potter's syndrome. In many states, doctors offer to terminate such doomed pregnancies, and that's what the Dorberts wanted to do. But their doctors said it wasn't possible because of a Florida law passed last year that bans nearly all abortions after 15 weeks. The law has an exception in cases of a fatal fetal abnormality that is incompatible with life outside the womb. Dr. Stephanie Ross, a high-risk pregnancy doctor in Florida, says she understands why Deborah's doctor wouldn't terminate the pregnancy.
The moment the law came out, I think everyone was scrambling to try to figure out what exactly was that language intended to convey.
Doctors found in violation of the law can face heavy fines and even prison terms. The Dorberts had two choices: leave Florida for a termination elsewhere or take the pregnancy to full term. Even though it's legal to leave Florida to get an abortion, the Dorberts said they were scared they'd get arrested. So Deborah stayed pregnant.
I continue to feel this baby move and knowing that I'm going to give birth and watch my child pass.
Her mental health suffered.
I really started having issues with depression and anxiety and just not wanting to get up out of bed.
As Caden grew more and more attached to his little sibling.
He continued to see my belly grow, and he continued to fill my belly, to feel the baby moved. And he kept getting excited that he was going to have a sibling.
The baby, a boy they named Milo, was born in March, and as the doctors predicted, his life was short. As Deborah held Milo in her arms, he gasped for breath and died in about an hour and a half. Deborah doesn't want to get pregnant again.
I couldn't go through another trauma like this with pregnancy.
When told about the Dorberts' story, Florida Representative Jenna Persons-Malika, a sponsor of the Florida abortion law, sent CNN this statement: "We are providing mothers with the resources they need to raise healthy..."
The bottom line is, she's basically saying we're going to provide resources to justify forcing people to carry pregnancies to term. But the bottom line is that doctors don't know. This is just, it's an illustration of two things. One, this is what Republican politics are about. You cannot move forward in Republican politics without this. And two, exceptions are BS.
Yep.
This is a perfect example. Perfect example. They're too ambiguous. And when the penalty is going to jail, losing your license, that's the end of the story.
Doctors won't grant those exceptions. Yeah. So I don't know how many more stories are we going to get out of this, and
it's just going to be ongoing.
Yeah.
We're going to hear these stories all the time, to the extent that the press is going to cover it. But they're happening every day.
Yeah. I mean, Ron DeSantis ran on "Make America Florida" or whatever the hell he was saying. Americans don't want this, resoundingly.
Oh, we'll find out.
I mean,
Donald Trump's not doing anything different.
abortion rights are popular. I understand, but I understand what you're saying. But it's a minoritarian kind of religious fundamentalist thrust, and they're just more militant than a lot of other groups.
Based on an entirely fantastic made-up concern that somehow there's women who abuse abortion to like get late-term abortions or whatever, just based on a whim. We're putting untold women through this just because of that.
Well, and because they should be punished. If God didn't determine that they have a healthy pregnancy, a healthy baby, so it be. So it should be, and she should be punished for it.
Colonel Burner, Sam, these discussions about voting are important. You helped improve my perspective in 2016 when I was dumb enough to consider writing in Bernie Sanders for president. Gerald from New Orleans. Bad news for that IMer. Biden has stated that he would veto Medicare for all. That is true. Although we do have more people who are insured, at least, than we have at any other time in the country in terms of percent.
Well, also it focuses too much, like even like the 99% Hitler thing. It's like the different coalitions. Like depending, I think there is like a capital veto that controls things on both parties that will lead to somebody like Biden saying, I would do that. But there is no like labor contingent of the Republican Party. There's no pro Medicare for all.
I went to that. I talked to workers. That's significantly less than a 1 in 1,000 chance. Obama was going to try and privatize Social Security, so maybe try a different argument. Wrong place to talk about what Obama was trying to do with Social Security. You should know you're on the wrong show, because he did not try and privatize. He tried to adjust the cost of living increase to peg it to an index that would have essentially cut some benefits for seniors. Ultimately, though, the Democratic Party in 2016, the Democrats in the Senate voted, obviously it didn't become law, to increase Social Security benefits. And so you're wrong about that. This is not the place to misstate facts about Social Security. There's a lot of things you can get away with, but this is not the place for that.